Hold up.
I hope you're having a great day. Today I want to talk about something which is very important, carbohydrate cycling. Number one, okay, carbs are not bad. There are good carbs and there are bad carbs. Okay, like fats. There are good fats, there are good quality fats, and there are bad quality of fats. Okay, if we didn't have the requirement of carbohydrates in the body, we wouldn't have the enzymes to break it down. Remember that. The next time people tell you that carbohydrates are not required for your health, okay, then why would you have enzymes that exist in you to break down carbohydrates? The problem is carbohydrates have got a bad name because people consume the wrong quality of carbohydrates and the wrong quantities. If your diet is carb heavy and you're sedentary, of course carbohydrates are going to become your enemy, because the job of carbohydrates is to break down into energy. But athletes, for example, do you think athletes are low carb? No, they're super high carbohydrates. Your percentage of your macronutrients depend on your expenditure, the kind of lifestyle you have. If you're a professional sitting for about you don't have to be a professional, you can be a really lazy person too, just sitting and doing nothing. The point is, if you have a sedentary lifestyle and you're consuming a lot of carbohydrates, that's a huge problem. So you don't blame the carbs, you blame your lifestyle. And the quality of carbs. Of course, if you're eating all of the whites, like all the refined flours and the refined products and the ultra-processed carbohydrates, of course, that's going to lead to bigger problems of insulin insensitivity and diabetes and all of the other problems that make you actually put on weight. That's the problem. Now, there are certain bodies that are carb efficient, certain bodies that are protein efficient, certain bodies that are fat efficient. Some people can be carb efficient in the morning. Some people can be carb efficient at night. That's for you to find out by trial. Today we're going to talk about carb cycling for people who are, who want to monitor their carbs. And this is a beautiful way of living. I do it myself as well. It's really simple. On the days that I train heavy, my carbohydrate intake will be higher. On the days that I train less or I don't train at all, I'm going to drop my carbohydrate intake. I'm not going to stop my carbohydrate intake. I'm going to drop it. Okay, we're not talking about keto diets today. We're talking about being smart. The more you work out, the more macronutrients you need. You need more protein, you need more quality fat, and you need more carbohydrates. You see, a lot of people today are starving themselves into weight loss. They intensively work out, they cut down their macros. While they may lose weight, they're also increasing inflammation in their body. And the more inflammation you have, the dangerous it is for you to get any inflammatory condition that exists out there, which is almost everything. So the whole point is, athletes, train hard, eat hard. Train less, eat less. As simple as that. So let's learn how to do carb cycling right now. So like, for example, today if I'm training my legs, my carbohydrate intake is going to increase. My good carbohydrates, not my refines and my ultra-processed foods. Tomorrow, if I'm taking a complete break day, maybe I'll just do a little bit of a walk or some light yoga or stretching. I'm going to drop my carbohydrates. Now, you can do it at every meal. So I can go high carb at every meal on my training day, or I can go high carb on one main meal. It's up to me. So if I train my legs at 12 o'clock, I can make my lunch the heaviest meal with more carbohydrates. So I have the rest of the evening to kind of break them down. I would preferably not go high carb at night. Unless I'm an athlete and I'm really training heavy, then you would have a sufficient amount of carbohydrates at night as well. But if you're not training intensively, you can go high carbohydrate at breakfast if you eat breakfast, or at lunch. So you can do it at one meal or all meals. The choice is yours. It's what works for you. No one can tell you what works for you. No nutritionist, no doctor, no coach, no one. You got to try it and see what works for you. So for example, my body's carb efficient at night. So my blood sugar levels tend to drop. I notice because I tried it with a CGMS monitor if I go low carb at night. So I need to eat carbohydrates at night. But in the morning, all I need is protein and fat. I don't need even a little bit of carbohydrate because I don't need carbs in the morning. My blood sugar levels are fantastic in the morning. So it's different for everyone. So that's on the training day. Now let's talk about the day that you're not training. The day that I'm not training, I can do the same thing. I can go low carb at every meal, or I can choose to go low carb at one meal. At dinner, for example, I may want to go low carb. And my other meals, I'll eat my normal carbohydrates, not high carbohydrates. So you see, you cycle between the carbs that you put into your body. This is extremely important. Let's say you have an injury and you can't work out. What's the smartest way to continue losing weight while maintaining muscle? Go low carb or carb cycle, but maintain your protein and fat. Now here's another tip. On the days that I'm going high carb, okay, I'm going to reduce my fat a little bit. So if I'm going to have a high carb breakfast or a high carb lunch or a high carb dinner, I'm going to reduce my fat a little bit with the high carb meal. Now on the carb cycling day where you go low carb, this is what you're going to do. You're going to increase your fat while you go low carb. Now protein stays constant right through, because on the days that you're training, you're going to need protein for recovery. On the days that you're not training, your body's still going to have a demand for protein for requirement and for your muscle growth. So now you got to find your niche. Okay, you got to find by trying. You can't outsource this responsibility to anyone. Try it. Try on the days that you train, increase your carbohydrates or eat your normal carbs that you're eating right now. The days that your training drops or you're in rest mode, lower your carbohydrates. Do not starve yourself. Sometimes, for example, I did legs yesterday. Okay, and today was my carb cycling day. But I woke up still feeling really hungry because it looks like I trained intensely yesterday and my body requires carbohydrates. It's asking me for that. So at breakfast, I consume more carbs. Now lunch, it's going to be lunchtime for me soon. I'm not so hungry, so I think I can go low carb. At dinner time, I don't know how I'll be. Let's see what my body tells me. And I may go low carb or I may just increase my carbohydrates. Every day is going to be different. That's why a piece of paper that tells you how to eat, when to eat is always inaccurate. It can be a benchmark of how you should be working your lifestyle, but it can never be accurate because your day is going to change, the intensity of your workout is going to change, how much of brain power you use is going to influence how much of carbohydrates or protein or fat that you require. So the best solution is listen. Listen to what your body's telling you. A lot of people feel they're not recovering from their workouts. You got to bump up your protein because you need protein for recovery, not carbohydrates. Sometimes your sugar levels crash after a heavy workout and you're trying to go low carb. That's stupidity. Increase your carbohydrates, let your blood sugar levels come up. There's no point punishing your body. Too many people using extremes to punish their body and they don't really ever get the results they want. Maybe short-lived 4 or 5 kilos off their body and eventually they put it all back on because they've not trained their metabolism. So now you can carb cycle in different ways. Alternate days. Some people train 2 days. They rest the next day. You can carb cycle on the 3rd day. You can carb cycle on the 4th day. I know super fit people who train Monday to Saturday and then they go low carb only on Sunday, the day of complete rest. It is up to you, but carb cycling involves that equation of high carbs, lower fat, okay? No fat, no carbs, lower. And lower carb days increase your fat. So you get your satiety, you feel full, and you get the fatty acids that your brain needs, your hormones need, and everything else. And that's how simple it is. Now, carb cycling is great to break a weight loss plateau. If you've been doing everything well, everyone hits that plateau where no matter what you do, your inches don't budge, the scale doesn't budge. And carb cycling is great to break through that barrier. So you can do a week of carb cycling. And again, listen to your body. You don't want to go so low. Don't compare what your friends are doing. Don't compare what other people are doing. You don't even have to calculate your carbs. You know, all of us have a certain knowing. You know what a knowing is? A knowing is that I know I'm doing the right things. I know this feels right. Connection with your instinct. So you know you're low carb because you're eating less carbs than the previous day. The knowing is enough. You don't have to calculate it. In fact, most of our pro athletes, unless they're bodybuilders, no one counts their calories. No one counts their calories. Even pro athletes don't count their calories because they know it cannot be accurate every single day. It's changing every single day. So we train them with mindfulness to listen to their body. My body's demanding. Is it emotional? Is it physical? Physical, eat. Emotional, pause. Don't feed the emotion with food. It's not going to sort your problems out. So it's very, very important. Some people measure their food and they calculate. That's okay. I'm not looking down on you. But my point is, it's not as accurate as you think it is because your body is dynamically changing in terms of energy expenditure and everything else. So you may want to try this. And a lot of people don't have to carb cycle at all. You don't have to because you've got the perfect equation. Everything's working. You eat mindfully. You know how much to eat. You know when to stop. So you don't have to do this, but this is mainly for people who want to get a little more specific, break that weight loss plateau, break that barrier, and try it out. It's a beautiful thing when you eat for the kind of training that you do, and you also eat for the kind of rest days and recovery that you have. Have a great day, everyone. Until next time, eat smart, move more, sleep right, breathe deep, and remember, you care is all about you. Oh yeah, one more thing. Carb cycling is great for diabetes as well. Okay, because a lot of diabetics, you know right now, I can guarantee you any type 2 diabetic out there in the world right now, if you cut down your carbohydrates, your blood sugar levels are going to come down. If you cut down your carbohydrates, your triglycerides are going to come back into level. If you cut down your carbohydrates, your insulin is going to work better, and your cells, all the insulin insensitivity that you have is going to get better. Period. No one is telling you to stop your carbs. We're telling you to balance it out. So if you're scared of doing that, carb cycle. And you'll see on the days that you carb cycle, your blood sugar levels are behaving better than on the days that you're eating regular carbohydrates. Like I always say, everyone's different. Self-realization is a luxury. You know, everyone's looking at, did you try this? Did you try this? My question is, why haven't you tried it? Why are you so scared to try something? You want to wait for the world to try it and only then will you do it? My point is, self-realization is a beautiful tool. It either works for you, it doesn't work for you, it makes you stronger, it makes you more self-disciplined. I just love everyone asking tons of questions on social media. And my point is, have you tried it? Then why not? Why do you want validation from everyone? Learn to live your life without validation. It makes sense to you, do it. Doesn't make sense to you, don't do it. Don't wait for the world that is completely unique, with unique needs and unique lifestyles, to do something to tell you to do it. And then someone tells you to do it and it doesn't work and you get more angry and frustrated. Self-realization is a beautiful luxury. Start building that. Have a great day, everyone.